As we're considering some of the ethical theories and ethical frameworks that we might use, I wanted just to add a little bit from Adam Smith. Most of you probably already know who Adam Smith is, as far as he's well known for his book on the wealth of nations, and he's often called the father of modern economics. But he wrote another text that's lesser known, and I have a copy of that. It's called The Theory of Moral Sentiments. And This is more of a philosophical framework, and it really is undergirding the principles that need to be in place for society and a marketplace to operate efficiently. And so there may be some things in here that you wouldn't expect to hear from Adam Smith based on maybe what the popular conception is. I really like this text. There are several principles in here that are, in my mind, very helpful. And Adam Smith would be considered probably a virtue ethicist based on the frameworks that we are studying in this course. So I just want to pull one topic out that I really appreciate from Adam Smith. And again, there are several. And these are not changing from culture to culture. The thing I like about virtue ethics is there are principles that are timeless. This was written in 1770s, I think, around 1776. So this is over 200, almost 250 years old. And the things that he's written about here, many of them still apply today. So I want to pull just a couple thoughts, and this one concept is the idea of the difference between receiving praise and doing an act that is praiseworthy. He makes a contrast between the two. So receiving praise, or loving to receive praise for things we've done, as opposed as opposed to doing acts that are praiseworthy. And he's getting at the very nature of the act. So he says the love of praiseworthiness is by no means derived altogether from the love of praise. These two principles, though they resemble one another, though they are connected and often blended with one another, are yet in many respects distinct and independent from another. And he says this: the most sincere praise can give little pleasure when it cannot be considered as some sort of proof of praiseworthiness. So he's getting at the idea that when we receive praise, it has a hollow or empty feel. If we're receiving praise, maybe for something we didn't do, or for something that really wasn't in its core praiseworthy. He says to be pleased with such groundless applause is a proof of the most superficial levity and weakness. So the person who loves to receive praise isn't necessarily the person who does acts that are praiseworthy. And of course, he's trying to steer us to appreciate praiseworthy acts more than receiving praise. He says, I'll just read a couple more quotes, and I'm reading just small quotes out of several pages that he's written on this. As ignorant and groundless praise can give no solid joy, on the contrary, it often gives real comfort to reflect that though no praise should actually be bestowed upon us, our conduct, however, has been such as to deserve it. We are pleased not only with praise, but with having done what is praiseworthy. So there are several other quotes I could read here, but the idea is that we should desire to be praiseworthy rather than to receive praise. He compares the person who loves to receive praise as the weak and kind of shallow, hollow person, but the ethical person is the one who prefers even if no praise is given, to have done an act or to behaved in such a way that is praiseworthy. Um, I would even go a step further, and as we look at operating in a business environment, in that there may be times where we do an act that is praiseworthy that we actually receive criticism for. So it may not even be just forfeiting praise. It may be being willing to be criticized or to face negative consequences, but knowing in our own heart that we've acted in a praiseworthy manner. And of course, the opposite for Adam Smith is the person who may do things for the public eye or for others to see, which may look praiseworthy, but they really require no praiseworthy action. And so I think that's an important principle, and it's something that has stuck with me. I read a lot of Adam Smith for my dissertation, and especially this work, and so I wanted to share that with you. So the bottom line is we want to strive towards behaving in such a way that it is praiseworthy, whether we receive praise or not, as opposed to looking to always please those on the outside and to receive praise.